Greetings children, welcome to the online classes. This is Aishwarya. Please like and subscribe the channel for the further updated videos. The following video is for class 4, subject General Science, chapter 5, the food chain. Now all living things, be it plants or animals, need energy to live. From where do they get that energy? Of course, we all need energy to work, to play, to study, to read, to write, to work. For anything for that matter, we need energy. Same like us, all the animals also need energy to hunt, to eat, to walk around. For everything, they also require energy. Where do we get this energy from? We get from the food that we eat. And what is the source of our food? The food that we get is from the plants, right? Plants depend on sunlight, water and minerals from the soil to make their food and get energy, right? We learned this in the previous chapter about how the plants make their own food. Plants are the producers of food. They are the main source of energy of food. Now they use the sun's energy through the process called photosynthesis to make food. Now, what is the process of photosynthesis? You already learnt in the previous chapter that plants use the energy of the sunlight in the presence of chlorophyll when they convert the carbon dioxide, water and minerals into food and give out water vapor and oxygen. This you learnt in the previous chapter. So, they are the main producers of food on earth. Humans and animals get energy when they consume the food made by these plants. We get that energy even if you eat meat or you're eating fish. They are also dependent on the producers. They are also dependent on the plants. So there is an interlink between all the living things that are living on the earth, living and non-living things. There is a link. So that link is nothing but the food chain. A food chain shows the transfer of food energy from the plants to an animal and then to another animal. How this as we all know that photosynthesis, the plants use the energy from the sun to produce food, right? So after producing the food, that energy is stored in them. So that energy, when a small animal like a worm goes and eat the plant, or the we directly eat the plants, that energy comes into our body. So like some when if there is some small animal which eats the plants, the energy from the plants is transferred to that worms. So if when the other animal eats the worm, that energy from the worm gets transferred to the next animal. So that is what your whole lesson is all about, the food chain. By knowing how the energy transfer from one animal to another, we also come to know how the animals and plants are dependent on each other. This is very true. We are interdependent on each other, as we learned in the previous chapters that um, we are dependent on plants for food, oxygen, for everything. Same way, plants are also dependent on us for pollination. Then they require carbon dioxide, which is produced by us, which is a byproduct of us. So the feeding patterns shows the connection between different animal. How they feed, that means how the animals feed on each other, shows the pattern or the connection between two different animals. Here is one example of a food chain where using the solar energy, the leaves are the natural solar panels, like they absorb the solar energy, transforming it into food energy. Now plants are eaten by grasshoppers. Grasshoppers, small grasshoppers, they eat the plants. Now grasshopper is eaten by frog. Then the frog is eaten by a bird. So the stored energy from the plants is transferred from the plants to the grasshopper, from the grasshopper to the frog, and from the frog to the birds. Same way, there is this shows the link between the two different animals, how the bird is linked with the plant, or how the plant is linked with frog. Like this main thing, this concept is called the food chain. If you completely understand this lesson, you can completely know how the all the different animals in the world are linked with each other. Now, as you all saw that the plant is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by a frog is eaten by a bird. Now, here you need to learn about the words called prey and predators. Now, as you saw in the previous picture, the arrow and the chain means that it is eaten by. That means plant is eaten by the grasshopper. Then the grasshopper is eaten by the frog. And um, now everything, all these food chains always start from the producers or these plants. Plants are also called producers because they produce the food. So all the chains are first they are all on the plants. In the second line itself, the consumer changes. That means whoever eats. Now, what is a prey? Now, I told you the grasshopper eats the plant, then the frog eats the grasshopper, then the bird eats the frog. So here, the prey is the animal that are eaten. Here on the screen you can see an example. A cheetah is hunting a deer. So here the prey means the one who is eaten by. Okay, so the one who is eaten, that is the deer is the prey and the cheetah is the predator. Predator, Predator, predator. It is the animal that eats the prey. So you need to understand the difference between the prey and the predator. When we eat something, when we hunt down something and eat them, we become the predators, and whatever we eat becomes the prey. Now if you take an example of a cat and a mice, cat is the predator and the mice is the prey. Whatever gets eaten is the prey. That is the difference between the prey and the predator. This you are going to learn throughout the lesson about the prey and the predators, how they are dependent on each other. So prey is the animal that are eaten and a predator is the animal that eats the prey. For example, now a different example, when the sparrow eats the worm is the prey and the sparrow is the predator, the one who eats. When the cat eats the sparrow becomes the prey of the cat and the cat becomes the predator. There is one more term called the apex predator. Apex means on the top of the list. They are at the top of the list, top of the predator list, or the apex predator is the top predator at the top of the food chain of an ecosystem. Ecosystem and all you will learn in the next video. Now you need to understand ecosystem means a surrounding, a place where different animals live. Now, if you take an example of a forest, plants get eaten by small worms. Worms get eaten by frogs. Frogs get eaten by um, frogs get eaten by a snake. Snake is eaten by a eagle. Then eagles become the apex predator. Okay, in that particular place, the last person who eats becomes the apex predator. Now, for example, a apex predator of India is a tiger. Tiger is the apex predator in India because they are on the top of the list. They hunt down different things and they eat different animals and they eat. They eat the deer, the different kinds of animals. And Africa's apex predator is the lion. Usually, the carnivorous animals are the apex predators because they are directly dependent on the animals which feed on the plants, the herbivorous. The carnivorous are usually the apex predator. So here today you learnt about what is a food chain. Food chain is the connection between the different animals. The food chain, the how the energy transfers from the first level to the last level, from the producer to the apex predator. So then you learnt about what is a prey and what is a predator. Now prey are the animals that are eaten. and predator is the animal which eats. Now if we eat a chicken, we are the predators and the chicken is the prey, right? So that's it for now, and the remaining part of the lesson will be covered in the following videos. Thank you very much. Um, Please follow the textbooks while learning the lessons. It will become easy. Stay at home, stay safe, and take care of yourself and keep learning, children. Thank you.